Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back, or welcome to another Bangs audio review. Today, I've got the EPZ Q1 Pro for y'all. Nice little package, for sure. This set does come courtesy of EPZ. So, that being said, all thoughts and opinions are, of course, my own, that you can always count on. And they didn't ask me to say anything specific about the set, so just how we reviewers like things, you know, it's a pretty simple ask, and most places don't have a problem doing it. So, on to the unbox. There's a fairly simple unbox, but that's okay because the box is sturdy. You could certainly store them in here if you wanted to. There's plenty of room. Obviously, IEMs attached to their cable were in there. This actually came, this box down here is a little bit hard for me to get out. Maybe, there we go, that's easier. Okay. So, a lot of stuff in here, including the pouch, including a set of ear tips, just small, medium, large silicones, and they're fine. And what else came in there? Oh yeah, just your user manual and QC card. So as I said, fairly simple unbox, but that is fine because the price point of these right around $35. I'm not expecting the world in an unbox in that situation, so no worries. The box is solid. It has the stuff in it and holds it well. There you go. Onto the specs. The specs of this are, I would say, pretty standard, right? So frequency response is 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. The resistance is 32 ohms, or the impedance, and the sensitivity is 100 decibels. So, you know, they're not super hard to drive, I don't think. I didn't run into any problem driving them, and I did use quite a number of different things to do this, including 3 dongle DACs from EPZ, which will be getting their own review maybe tomorrow, maybe Friday, I'm not sure. Anyway, one of those days. We also have the 1,000 subscriber video coming up very soon, because I think I was at 995 a little while ago. So that's going to happen probably in the next couple of days too. And that has the giveaway from Scientist Audio as, you know, sort of a celebration and a thank you to y'all. And that is going to be the Confined Elsie. So look forward to that. That should be coming, I would think, if not tomorrow, then Friday. So those last few subscriptions are just like, they seem like they take forever, but they don't. It just kind of feels that way, because if I look over like the past 6 months, it's pretty steady, you know, around 90 to 100 subscribers per month, so many view hours, so many so many likes, comments, etc. It's fairly, you know, consistent. Like, it's been growing, but it's fairly consistent. So it's like, it seems like it's taken longer than it should, but in reality it's just going right along, which is organic growth, which is sustainable growth, which is the best kind of growth. So anyway, you'll definitely be hearing from me when it happens, though, unless it happens at 3 o'clock in the morning, and maybe even then. So yeah, you got your specs there. The cable, let's talk about the cable for a quick sec, is nice. It's not fantastic, it's not bad, certainly not bad. It feels like it's decent quality, and it's not too tangly, and doesn't have any memory to it, so it's fairly soft. You know, flush 2-pin for the connection point, and a 3.5 millimeter single-ended termination, but easily swappable. I did not. You know what's happening is that I'm getting to the point. Well, all right. So let's just put it this way: if a set is like less than $50, most likely people aren't going to spend $10 or $15 or $20 on a cable upgrade. So the best way to test it is just as it is stock, right? Because most people aren't going to add a cable. So it better be good with the cable, and the cable better be good because, you know, keeps people from having to go outside the box. Lord, no, don't do that. Yeah, the only difference, of course, is the ear tips, and I would be doing a disservice not only to myself, but to you all if I didn't put ear tips in that gave me a really good seal. And the velvet tips from Divinus always do, so that's my default. I like the wide bore, but not as much as I like the original. So anyway, that was the exception. I didn't use the stock ear tips. Everything else, stocky stock. Build quality on these, I would say, is excellent for the price. It has a high quality feel, 3D printed resin, and they've got their acoustic chamber in there, which is specifically designed with that single dynamic driver in mind. And faceplate is pretty. Like, it's got that oyster shell kind of mother of pearl thing going on, but it's got some shots of purple and pink going through it, along with that blue, some silver. They're nice. They're like jewelry. That's what my wife says. My wife says the really nice ones, like the set she stole from me, the new Adonis, like that to her is like nice jewelry. It's like wearing earrings, except they're in your ears. But, people can see them and they look nice. These are especially nice to look at, in my opinion. So, nice job on the build quality, decent cable, no complaints so far. The real thing that we want to pay attention to is the sound, right? Because we've had a couple, and I say we, meaning me reviewing, you guys watching, between the new Adonis, the new Adonis, this SGOR Adonis, right? And the Tangzu Wanner Studio. We've had a couple of really good budget IEMs lately. It feels nice, because it means that you can really enjoy music at a high level without spending too much money. So then I jumped into an $800 set of headphones, which, let me, first world problems, guys, I get that, but let me tell you how hard it is to go one way, $20 IEM, $800 headphone, and then go the other way, $800 headphone to $35 IEM. Listen, it's a challenge because you have to sort of recalibrate, and it's not just about the price difference. That's really actually the minor difference. The major difference is having something that's on the outside of your ear that's you experience pinna from your physiology, your ear physiology. So that makes it a little bit different. And then, IEMs go all the way in your ear canal, and, it's a different presentation, right? So I wasn't sure what I was going to make of the Q1 Pro. It came recommended. People seem to like it. I had a great experience with the K5, which we did a couple of weeks ago, so I was definitely ready to do another one. Also, going back to March, I think it was, when we did the collab, the EPZ X Tipsy Star in One, which was one of my favorite sub-$100 sets. So it's been an ongoing positive experience with EPZ to this point. I was really hoping that I wasn't going to have a letdown, and I didn't. Yes, I did not have a letdown. So let's talk about how this sounds, and I will bring up the graph for you guys all to see. This is my, let's see if I can bring this up a little bit for you. There. My graph that I posted, the photo of this on the community section a couple of days ago, or was maybe yesterday? Yesterday. So it's a really nice looking graph. It's kind of SM4 it's, somebody mentioned a little bit like the Canara Celeste Wyvern Abyss. I would say similar, maybe a little bit more similar to the Supermix 4 from Simgot. Regardless, this is a well-tuned IEM. It just has great balance to it. So where I would say this is where it sort of bridges the gap for me between those three sets, the Sigor or SGOR, I'm not going to call it Sigor, SGOR Adonis, the Tangzu Wanner Studio Edition, and the Celeste Wyvern Abyss. This kind of takes all of the best parts of those three sets and siphons them into one. So as far as the bass on the Adonis goes, these guys don't have quite the amount of bass, but they have a little bit more sub bass, and the bass is extremely high quality and well controlled. So there we go, a little improvement on the bass over the Adonis. Then you've got the treble and bit of air of the 1er, but without so much bass. So this gives you the treble extension. You know, it's not super spicy, but it does extend quite a bit, all the way up to like 12 to 14K, and then after that, I'm not hearing anything anyway. So maybe you are. Maybe you're one of those folks that goes up to 20 and really is still hearing stuff there. But this is extended enough, I think, for most people. Okay, it's got a really nice smooth treble, and it picks up a ton of details, including micro details, including things like, what do you say? We always say, "Oh, I heard stuff in that song that I never heard before." Okay, that's kind of like it's a fallback position, right? When we're trying to describe how detailed the set is, it's like, wow, you know. Well, to some extent I did, you know. I think that the things that I just heard more clearly. I don't know if I necessarily heard anything new, but I did hear more clearly some details than most other sets under $50, you know. So they perform extremely well from that aspect. The mids on this, they're clean, they're warm, engaging, not super warm, not too heady or intoxicating. You know, obviously Melody Gardot is sort of the test for that. She sounded just fine. And the other part of it is that, you know, like instrumentation, it's got really good separation when it's busy in the mids and the upper mids. Like, it's got excellent separation and imaging, I would say. I mean, we're talking about a $35 set here. I'm talking about technical performance that I usually don't talk about unless, you know, we're talking over $100 or at least over 70, right? So they're a high performing set, especially considering their price. And then you get your soundstage, and the soundstage on these is it's not wildly large, but it is definitely big enough, because that goes into the imaging and the separation and the placement. There's enough room for everything in the soundstage, so nothing sounds crowded, nothing sounds congested, nothing's overlapping another. And here's the big one for me. Every set has kind of like maybe a strong point, okay? And for me, this is especially fun for me because I was a drummer, not a very good drummer, but a drummer. This has kick drum ability, like just amazing. It really, and it doesn't matter if it's like, you know, high speed double bass or quad pedal bass. It doesn't matter if it's, you know, Trent Reznor and his drum machine. Nobody does a drum machine like Trent Reznor. Oh my God. You know, whether it's that synthesized or analog, it doesn't matter. These just, they kick. That's what they do. They kick, the kick drum, just like, oh, so satisfyingly delicious, yummy. So Basshead and Me came out a little bit. Like I said, it's a little toned down from the SGOR Adonis, but still plenty of bass there for bass heads. You guys will really enjoy this set, I think, anyway. And the nice thing is, the way you could see it, it is sub over mid, and I wouldn't call this a tuck. It's just a gradual. You know, it's not like a steep drop off. So the mid bass does carry through very well, but it goes away when it's supposed to go away, so it's not overlapping with the mids. Again, the set is super well balanced. It's a super well balanced set. And listen, you know, I know, I feel like I've just gotten really lucky lately. I've had a lot of good sets come across the desk, and, you know, if we look back over the past couple of months, it was really only a couple of sets that I didn't enjoy a lot. You know, it was the Tiandrin TD20, which was just too bright for me, not balanced out enough, and then the Medusa. So that probably gives you a little insight into, you know, my particular preferences, which you should always think about, you know, because every reviewer has a different preference, and it's good to know those, you know, to see if they line up with yours or not. Okay, so we've kind of been throwing the comps in here right along the way. I say, as far as the Wyvern Abyss goes, that this lacks a little bit of energy, but it just makes up for it in being so smooth in the presentation. So it's kind of like I said, the Wyvern Abyss it's not polite. It's not asking permission. It's just doing. If you like it, great. It could be too intense for some people. There's no apologies. This set's a little bit more polite. But when I say polite, I don't mean boring. Okay? It's just got a little bit more polish to it than the Wyvern Abyss does. And I love that Wyvern Abyss. I think it also way overperforms for its price. But if I had to pick between the two, if I was going to have, and they're both, the Wyvern we've seen as low as like $14, ridiculous. But Wyvern's usually around 30. This is usually around 35. They're fairly comparable price wise, but I'm taking the EPZ every day. I just am, and I love the Wyvern, so don't be mad at me. I still listen to the Wyvern. I still bust that out. It hasn't disappeared into the drawer of confusion, so don't worry about that. It's just that I'm probably going to reach for these first. Yeah, a little recency bias there probably, but I'm probably going to reach for them first for a while, and then I'll get curious about how I'm feeling about the Wyvern again and go back to that. So what I'm saying is another fantastic value, like another freaking amazing set for the price. And EPZ, starting I think with the K5 for me, and the Sarin 1 before that, but they seem like they're ramping up. Because if they can do this with a single dynamic driver at sub $50, sub 40, and they can do what they did with the K5, which was released I think last October, otherwise it'd be in the running for IEM of the year for me. These might be IEM value of the year. This might be the budget of the year for me, unless something else crazy comes along, because anyway. But EPZ's been on a bit of a roll, in my humble opinion. You look at, they've got the 620 out there, which is a 6BA set. You've got the 530, which is their flagship. I think there's a 520. It just seems like every time I try a set from them, I want to try another one. That's how I ended up with so many Canera Queen of Audio reviews, because every time I heard a set, I wanted to hear another one. Well, that's starting to happen with EPZ now. Like, I want to see what else they can do. So, yeah. Just to wrap things up, these guys get a highly recommended, okay? And I didn't go over genres or test tracks because, honestly, you can listen to whatever you like with them. They are an all-rounder set. So, if you don't know already, my test tracks run the gamut from jazz and classical to classic rock to prog. Now, I've got some Yes and some Genesis, older Genesis in there now too, Bill Bruford, and then I get into metal, and then I get into K-pop, and I get into hard rock and alt rock, Radiohead, Nine Inch Nails, obviously, and there was not a weak point for these, okay? That's what I can say. Now, would I recommend these for super high volume listening? No, because I think that when you have a set that is has this kind of technical ability and this kind of sort of sensitivity to it and impedance, like that whole thing, this isn't a set that I'm going to turn up to 11 to listen to. It was really good around, a third volume in most situations, and I could turn it up beyond that, and I wasn't worried about distortion, but they get loud really fast, and you have all of that information that you're getting from them hitting you at a high volume. It's just a bit much. That's all. It's just a bit much. So if you are a really high volume listener, and you shouldn't do that anyway, by the way, because that's bad for your hearing, especially over a long period of time. But if you listen to music louder than you should, these might not be for you. And that's it. That's the only thing. I just want to make people aware of that. They weren't showing their best at high volume. That's the only criticism I would have, and I don't even really call that a criticism, because again, you shouldn't be listening to your stuff that loud anyway. And I listen to my stuff fairly loud. You know, like I kind of push it sometimes. I like to see if things can get loud and still sound good. I would say these are better at more moderate volume levels. So, to make a short story long, there's your EPZ Q1 Pro review. Upcoming, we'll be talking about 3 dongles from them: the TP30, the TP11, and the TP12. TP12 is for Lightning for older iPhones, and the TP11 is your Android and laptop dongle DAC. So that'll be a fun thing to do. Little DAC review. Won't be super long. That's going to wrap it for now. Hopefully the next time I see you guys, I'll be saying, hey, we made it to 1,000 subscribers. So we'll see how it goes. I feel like that's going to happen the next day or two. So good stuff. All right, that's going to wrap it for today. Be careful, be safe, be nice. I love y'all. Nothing but peace to you. And we'll see you.